Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another update for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Manga Chapter 8. Full spoilers. Yesterday here on the channel, we got the official promo spoiler released by the official Boruto account, but today we have a pretty decent sized chunk of the chapter revealed via some very reliable sources who have gotten their hands on the magazine in Japan a few days early, which means we've got more details about major reveals in the chapter, and it's safe to say Chapter 8 is indeed ending off Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Volume 8 with a bombshell. But here's the thing, these Shinju are every bit the problem that we all thought they might be. As a reminder, Chapter 8 will drop officially on the 20th this month on the Viz Media Shonen Jump app and the Shueisha Manga Plus app. Both will allow you to read this chapter for free, as well as the most 3 recent chapters of any manga title on that site for free as well. So make sure to support the official release, even if you read the leaked chapter. It takes a few minutes to read the chapter on the official site, and over on Manga Plus there's more revenue that's given to Ikimoto and his staff if you read over there, and Shueisha monitors that data very closely. Finally, since we got more detailed spoilers on the 15th, not like I was anticipating like the 16th or 17th, that 30-minute Boruto video I told you guys about is going to get pushed back another day or so. I'm likely still going to drop it this weekend, but it won't be any later than Monday, so keep notifications turned on because you're not going to want to miss that one. Now, I won't be showing any of the raw scans from the leaks here on this video because of the copyright strike issues I've had in the past. Even if I put filters over the scans, I do keyframe movement over a background. I'm just throwing that out there for the new people who are subscribed to the channel, because each spoiler video I do, it never fails to have a few people asking where the leaked panels in the chapter when I'm talking about them. So with that being said, let's dive into the leaks of Chapter 8, which is always, I'll talk about the key things that grab my attention because I'm gonna wait for more context before weighing in on the rest. The first major thing that we have here from this chapter is gonna be very important for the power scaling purposes, which Boruto's a sequel to one of the biggest battles shonen ever, so that's really what 90% of you guys are here for. So the Shinju, they aren't just strong, they are very strong, and we only saw a glimpse of it when it came to Boruto versus the Shinju, and it's looking more and more likely that Kashin Koji made the right decision when he had Boruto pull out before things got too out of hand, because as things stand right now, Boruto might have stood a very real possibility of getting eaten by one of the Shinju because they are way stronger than we imagine. However, the good news is that we see exactly where Kawaki is right now on the totem pole, and Kawaki fans, you're gonna want to sit down for this one. Our boy isn't on the fraud watch list just yet, but that fraud case just went from Kawaki under a sworn disposition and getting some discovery evidence shown to him to now that boy is in a whole courtroom, and his fate is up to us as the jury to decide if he's guilty or innocent of being a fraud who's weaker than Boruto right now. And I'm gonna be completely blunt with you, it ain't looking too good. Remember how Boruto was out here and he was slapboxing with the Shinju in base and he's busting out ninjutsu to hold him off, and while he was a bit on the defensive and clearly outnumbered at that, fighting 4 versus 1, or really 3 versus 1, Kawaki just put in way more effort than Boruto did and he got bodied. Kawaki ends up confronting Jura in this chapter, and it doesn't end up too well for him because Jura and the other Shinju, they can not only use wood release, but Jura is strong enough that even when Kawaki goes into Karma version 1, so the basic Karma Seal amp, and tries to use the Hacks Jutsu he inherited from Ishiki's Karma, and even tries using his ninja tech where he transforms his body into weapons, it's still not enough. Jura slaps Kawaki around in this chapter and is outright dogging him out, which means Jura looked at Kawaki using Karma and he said how cute before breaking his foot off inside of Kawaki's butt and kicking him away like a soccer ball. However, there's more hope for Kawaki though, because Jura does appear to be significantly stronger than the other Shinju, because Kawaki in base was strong enough that while Hidari was able to dodge some of the chakra rods with relative ease, Kawaki was still able to take him out with only using his base power. So we're starting to get some clear signs of where each of the Shinju are in terms of power here. There could always be more shown in the future with Hidari, but for now that's really all we got on Hidari. The other thing that stands out about this chapter is that Himawari fans, you've been patiently waiting for an update on that hidden power, and Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is giving us yet another tease that Damon's words about Himawari, they were not capped. She is really being built up as being the Son Gohan of this generation for Boruto, because that girl has a hidden power inside of her, and we now have a very clear idea of what it is, which is when Hidari and Jura were going through Konoha and they're looking for Naruto. We learned that Hidari is sensing strong tail beast chakra from within the village, and that should be a red flag that makes the record scratch go off in your head. Right now, the only Jinchuriki in the Naruto world, that is Killer B, the last real Jinchuriki alive. Killer B really needs to drop that album with that title, which for the people who still, for whatever reason, believe that Momoshiki killed Killer B, he didn't. Go rewatch the episode. B is captured, and slow down the scene if you need to. Killer B cut off his tentacle at the last second like he did against Sasuke Madara. B did not die. The other Biju are out there roaming around free in this world, unless we learn that the Shinobi villages have gone back to the Jinchuriki system, which there's not even a remote hint that that was ever a possibility, that it happened during the 3 years, and thematically there'll be problems with that as well, but I won't get into that here. I might make a video on it later on. However, what Biju chakra is Hidari sensing in the village? That's probably what you're asking, right? Well, it seems that Anime Balls Deep and myself, that video that we did on that collab on their channel last year, and what I said in a video a few years ago, there's hints that we got that part right, which is we both said Boruto isn't the only special child of Naruto and Hinata, and that if one of them strongly inherited the genetics of the Otsutsuki, then the other had something special about them as well. And we both came into the conclusion that through whatever methods of chakra mumbo jumbo that you want to use, Himawari ended up with a potential variant of Tail Beast chakra, because it was the only thing that explains why she, as a small child, was able to flat out knock out Naruto with a single strike when she had an emotionally charged moment, and in that one hit did something that only a true high-level master of the Byakugan can do, which is shut down every single chakra point in Naruto's body. And she took it a step further by scaring the piss out of Kurama. The Byakugan lets you target the chakra points, and members of the Hyuga clan's main branch who have awakened the Hyuga clan Kekkei Genkai, the Byakugan, and they're taught the Hyuga clan's hidden jutsu, the 64 palms. They can target all the chakra points, but it's usually one at a time. In the manga one-shot for the day that Naruto became Hokage, she only does it with one hit. And what started out as being a gag moment, they built on top of that. And it had Hinata racking her brain trying to figure out who could have done this to Naruto, and we as the audience knew that it was Himawari. She's been training for 3 years. She was able to sense Naruto's location for an unknown reason, but because she doesn't know how to control that power, and she doesn't know what it is that she's sensing and how to make sense of it, because there hasn't been someone in the village to properly guide her. It reeks of the Son Gohan comparison when you add in the manga and anime material for Himawari. She, like Gohan, was a naturally talented person at fighting, but she was too peace-loving of a soul to take joy in actively seeking it out. It was forced upon Gohan after Piccolo snatched him up in Dragon Ball Chapter 203 after Goku died, and Himawari didn't fully commit to becoming a ninja until her brother had been killed and reborn, and she said she wanted to help him. And then you fast forward 3 years, she's training seriously after everyone told her that her father and mother were killed. Both characters have been said to have a hidden power inside of them right before someone they cared about died. In the case of Himawari, she was told her parents are dead. Both characters appear to have a power that shows itself at its maximum when they give into their emotions beyond reason. Everything else that you see before that is merely them tapping into it on the surface, but they never get a full rest on it until they give into their emotion. If Boruto inherited Minato's super genius skills, those super genius genetics that were so overpowered that to skip a generation, that way Naruto would be the idiot with the tinfoil hat and the crayons, then Himawari inheriting what made Kushina special, that makes sense as well. Kushina, even amongst the Uzumaki clan, had super rare and special chakra. This is before she was even Kurama's Jinchuriki. It was the whole reason she was chosen to be Kurama's Jinchuriki. They could have gone with any shinobi from the Uzumaki clan, but Kushina was chosen for that reason. If her grandson got Minato's genius, it makes sense that her granddaughter got the special chakra that Kushina had before becoming a Jinchuriki. The last thing from the chapter that I want to go over that stood out to me is that Kawaki running step in step with Delta with the intention of killing Boruto. I don't think that was by mistake here that we see Kawaki and Delta either. One of the questions that we've had since the start of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex is whether or not Kawaki has done what Amato asked, which is transplant the Karma seal onto Delta so his daughter's soul can be extracted into Delta, who, like Kashin Koji, is a cyborg clone, whereas Kashin Koji was a clone of Jiraiya, Delta is a clone of Amato's daughter. That's subtle positioning to keep the relationship between these two and that plot thread from part 1 in the back of your mind as a reader, even if it was meant to only subconsciously remind you of that relationship, which that's very likely the case. It's what Kishimoto did in all those years, hyping up the Toby reveal. We would see the mask, we would see that the eye wasn't being shown, and people were saying, could he have a Sharingan? It ended up being Obito. Without going into spoilers, similar things were done with Sukuna and Jujutsu Kaisen if you're an anime only, and you paid attention during season 1 and season 2, then there was something right in your face that got dangling in the background that ended up becoming true in this final arc. Just as something going on in Chainsaw Man's manga currently and in the Eden Zero manga currently that was dangled openly in the background early on is being paid off in those respective mangas. I think we're seeing something similar here. I 100% believe that we need to consider the very real possibility that Kawaki has given Delta the Karma seal at some point during the 3-year time skip, and that Amato's daughter's soul is extracting into Delta slowly because she already has her genetics. Only thing missing is the soul itself. Strategically, I can see the reason why Kawaki wants Delta to help him bring down Boruto. Kawaki knows that Boruto got stronger, but while Delta, even if she does have a karma, she isn't as strong as Boruto. She does have those eye beams that consume a ton of chakra, but if they hit the target, whatever part of their body is destroyed, it's destroyed on a cellular level. It's a pretty good win condition to have in your back pocket if you're getting into that fight, in my opinion. Just as the Shinju only needed 1 bite to get a W, Delta only needs 1 strike with those chakra beams of hers to get a W as well. There's more to the chapter because it has a ton of dialogue, so I'm not expecting the leaked chapter for another 2 or 3 days, which is why I'm waiting on more information to come out and people I trust are translating some of the pages we've seen. As always, the chapter review, depending on when the full translated chapter drops, will either drop the day of the official release or a day or 2 afterwards, because the channel editor who does the Boruto 2 Blue Vortex reviews will be handling that one. That video will be paid for by the fine folks over at Patreon who support the channel, which you can see the mega upgrade in editing quality for the chapter reviews by clicking this video on the screen.